Hi all you healthy humans, welcome to New Leaf Table TV. I'm your host, Chef E. Today we're making lemon garlic steelhead trout. If you'd rather use salmon, you can 100% sub salmon in this recipe with braised collard greens. It's gonna be so tasty, a really simple weeknight meal that you will sure to love. We have our steelhead trout, we have collard greens, bone broth, ghee, all of our fresh herbs and spices. We have garlic for a good immune kick. We're gonna do lemon zest for some added vitamin C. And our fish will give us a lot of good omega-3s. So to start off, preheat your oven to 400 degrees. I've already got mine going, but if you haven't done that yet, stop and get that going. Next, we'll take our fish. It's on a baking sheet with unbleached parchment paper. And you're just gonna take a paper towel and pat it dry. This removes most of the moisture from the top of the fish and helps get that crispy outer layer on our fish. Then we're gonna take some avocado oil and just give it a little drizzle on top. Then we will do our seasonings. So pepper and salt. There we go. And a little dash of paprika on each fillet. Then we're gonna take our lemon and zest it right on top of our fish. The zest of the lemon is so tasty, it adds so much flavor, and it's a huge vitamin C immune boost. If you don't have one of these guys, it's a microblade. You can get them on Amazon for super cheap. And they're very useful in the kitchen. You can do Parmesan or a lot of other things with your microblade. Garlic and ginger. All right, we got some zest on there. Now we're gonna take 2 cloves of garlic and go ahead and get them crushed up and minced. I always like to use fresh garlic. It just tastes so much better than the stuff in the jar, and it doesn't come with any extra preservatives. But I like to get the garlic that's already peeled. It just saves you a step. So we have our minced garlic, and I'm just gonna scoot it on off of here onto our fish. And then lastly, we are going to take our fresh thyme and our fresh dill, give them a coarse chop, and then add them to the top of our fish. Sprinkle these on. It really does make a huge difference to use fresh herbs. You can taste it in your cooking. All right, and I'm just gonna kind of press everything into our fish so that all of our ingredients aren't falling off. Pick up anything that's kind of fell onto the parchment paper, just so we get all of those goodies on our fillet. Then we'll pop it in the oven. Okay, all of our ingredients are on our fish. So now we're gonna pop this in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes until the fish just releases its fat. That's that white stuff that you always see around the edges. So just check it, it should flake easily with a fork. All right, while our fish is cooking, we are gonna braise our collard greens. So to get started, we're gonna chop 1 shallot. Just give it a nice coarse chop. It'll add a lot of flavor to your greens, but you also don't have to include shallot if your family doesn't like onions. I'll set that aside. Then we're gonna take our collard greens. Look at these big, beautiful leaves. So if you've never worked with collard greens like this, you wanna take out this stem in the middle here because it's really tough and hard to eat. You could chop it up and braise it separately, cook it down for longer, or add it to your compost. But we are just gonna cut it out for now. So just cut right along your stem and then toss it out. You can also fold it in half to do the same thing. Do it in one swoop and cut out our stem. All right. And then we are gonna give these guys a rough chop. I'm gonna bunch them all up and actually fold them in half, and then just gives me an easy way to give them a good chop. And then I will take that whole bunch and just do in half this way. All right, collard greens are chopped, shallots chopped. Now let's get our pan started. Let's turn on our stove to medium-high heat. I'm using ghee today. It's clarified butter, about a tablespoon. And we're gonna let that melt down in the pan. Get all the good bits off of there. And the very next thing we'll add in is our shallot, because we want those to cook for about a minute and get soft before we add our greens. Go ahead and add in your shallots and give everything a good stir. Super fragrant. The shallots mixed with the ghee, it smells heavenly. Next, we're gonna add in our greens, and you wanna make sure everything is coated with your ghee. So if you need to add a tiny bit more to make sure everything's coated, I would do that now. I'm gonna turn mine down a smidge so it's not popping at me. Now we're gonna add salt and pepper. And then we're gonna add a clove of garlic. And last but not least, a half a cup of bone broth. I'm using chicken bone broth, but you can really use any kind of bone broth. We are gonna braise these greens, which just means basically cooking something at low heat. So turn down your heat to about medium low in a liquid. And it's a good alternative to boiling your greens, because boiling them removes most of the nutrient value, whereas braising, you keep a lot of that nutrient value in your food. And you can also use a really nutrient dense liquid to braise with, like bone broth. So it also adds so much flavor. So we're just gonna let this cook on medium low heat until our fish is finished. All right, our fish is out of the oven, smells delicious, and it has just released its fat along the edges. Our greens are getting nice and wilted. That's the goal, is you want a lot of the juice to evaporate and the greens to get nice and wilted. There'll still be a little juice in the pan, and that's just fine. It adds a lot of flavor, and most of it has already cooked into your greens. So ours are at a perfect point right now. So I'm gonna turn off my stove, and then let's get everything plated up. Get one piece of fish. I'm gonna take a little bit of red pepper flakes and add it to my greens. You can leave that off if you don't like spice. We like spice around here. So I'll take about half of these greens. And there you have it, lemon garlic steelhead trout with braised collard greens. Super easy, tasty meal everybody will love. Thanks for watching New Leaf Table TV. Until we dine again, farewell, healthy humans. To subscribe to New Leaf Table's meal plan service with weekly meals and easy delivery through your existing Amazon Fresh membership, visit our website at newleaftable.com. And also, please hit the subscribe button to our YouTube channel. Okay, we have our steelhead, blah, blah, blah. One more time. Dun, dun, dun. Now let's get our pan started. So I'm using ghee, it's clarified butter. And then we're gonna add a clove of garlic. I can't get it. There. Okay. Our blah, blah, blah. You know, I also need one of these guys. I was like, how am I gonna pick up the fish? And there you have it. Steel cut, what is it? Steelhead trout.